I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, news impacting Montanans all across the state tonight. Senator Jon Tester today makes a move to supply farmers with more mental health help. We'll show you how. Plus, just 8 days later and a few miles apart, a third grizzly attack sends a Montana hunter to the hospital. But first, tragedy in Butte. A 5-month-old baby girl found dead in a car, her mom sleeping on top of her. A lot of unanswered questions at this hour, but this we do know. Police are questioning the 30-year-old Butte mother, and as of tonight, no charges have been filed. Police noticed the parked car shortly before 9 a.m., just a block from the police station, the engine running and the doors locked. As police approached the vehicle, they say they saw the woman sleeping on top of the baby. They broke the window to rescue the infant, but it was too late. Authorities also found the woman's toddler in the back seat. He was okay and tonight is in protective care.
You know, there's a little bit of a cloud over the department today because of this incident, and everybody's disappointed, and especially those officers who did CPR. They're a little distraught that they weren't able to save the child, and that's understandable.
Now, police are waiting on the medical examiner's report for the infant's cause of death. So far, no names have been released. Protecting Montana's children. Well, 20 years ago, the story of an abandoned Missoula baby would forever impact children across the state. In 1999, tiny cries from inside a dumpster revealed a newborn girl in a plastic bag. That bag wrapped in blankets, the baby left to die. Baby Grace was rescued and later adopted and is now a happy, healthy 20-year-old woman. Now, her story spurred state lawmakers to pass Montana's first Safe Haven Newborn Protection Act. That act allows birth parents to surrender their newborns without legal consequences at any emergency services provider, such as a police station, fire station, or hospital. Governor Judy Martz signed that act into law in 2001.
There was a need for immediate action. So I had done most of my legal career in child abuse and neglect. I had represented children in a lot of different situations, so I knew the law very well. So I submitted a bill draft, immediately to be able to figure out if we could find a way, to protect babies like this. And sure enough, as we checked with other states, there were 12 other states that had laws similar to this. So what we did is take the best provisions of each one of those laws and build them into Montana's law. So that was the bill that was submitted. So I knew that this was a life or death situation, and everybody else realized that. So we knew we had to get some legislation done immediately because it was going to happen again.
And Halligan says it's important for people to know this law exists and how it provides options for both parents and babies. He says it passed with unanimous bipartisan support. Well, in Montana's mountains, another hunter survives a grizzly bear attack in the Gravely Mountains. Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks officials confirmed yesterday's attack played out just a few miles from 2 other attacks last week. MTN's Cody Boyer reports.
They have nothing to lose to come chew on us. They can kill you.
A similar setup to a similar terrifying situation.
This hunter was walking through some downed timber when he was attacked by a bear at a very close range.
Like in last week's attacks, the hunter was prepared.
During the attack, he shot at the bear several times with a pistol. The bear subsequently left.
Morgan Jacobson with FWP says this all happened 8 miles south of Cottonwood Creek, where last Monday, 3 hunters were injured in 2 different attacks, only 11 hours apart.
Wardens and law enforcement personnel with the U.S. Forest Service were able to respond fairly quickly to yesterday's incident because they were still in the Gravely Mountains.
Jacobson adds it is still unclear if this was the same bear or more.
Bears are moving into what we call hyperphagia, which is a period of time when bears are more active on the landscape. They're consuming more calories in preparation for hibernation.
The hunter was treated in Sheridan and released, but the series of attacks has outfitters like Roundhouse Sports Center in Bozeman talking.
The mawings that we're seeing aren't where the bears are eating on them. It's just a quick fight or flight response.
The staff here at Roundhouse say having a good, strong, reliable backpack out there with you can also go a long way in protecting you in more ways than one. That way you can actually have your bear spray right here on your chest, easily accessible, so if you're forced into a ball to protect yourself, you can activate the bear spray and spray it right over your shoulder.
Roundhouse manager Ryan Merkel adds that traveling in groups is still the way to go.
Always have a backup plan.
And with Montana being Montana, Jacobson says these 4 hunters are very lucky.
Encounters like this are unfortunate. It is the reality in living in bear country.
In Bozeman, Cody Boyer, MTN News.
Thanks, Cody. Now the search for bears connected to these cases will now start again. Well, late summer snowstorms have snuck up on Montana and Wyoming, shutting down the Beartooth Pass for good. Now you can still drive from Red Lodge all the way up to the state line, but that's it. On the Wyoming side, snow drifts are already deep and cold temperatures mean there won't be much melting. Snow can cause closures any time of the year, but historically the iconic highway closes around the second weekend of October. Chronic wasting disease has killed 7 deer so far this year. 10 cases have been confirmed in Libby, and that has the attention of wildlife managers. Fish, Wildlife and Parks began trying to understand CWD after it was first detected in Billings a few years ago. Areas with high mule deer density are most at risk. Warning signs include deer walking in circles, standing with their legs spread apart, drooling and droopy ears. If tested positive for CWD, the carcass must be disposed of and the meat not consumed. Now, so far, researchers say humans and other animals, aside from elk, deer, and moose, cannot contract CWD. Well, the doors for trade between the U.S. and Japan opening to a $7 billion future for Montana. The first stage of a new trade policy signed today. The Montana Ag Network's Elaine Nordland has more on how this agreement could benefit producers.
Well, this week's news that the U.S. and Japan reached an agreement on market access for certain agricultural products is boosting the morale of farmers and ranchers here in Montana and across the nation in a time when falling commodity prices and trade have negatively impacted rural America. Important to Montana, Japan will reduce tariffs on products such as fresh and frozen beef and pork, provide a country-specific quota for wheat and wheat products, along with reducing the markup on imported U.S. wheat and barley, among other agricultural goods. Montana U.S. Senator Steve Daines weighed in on today's news.
Today's announcement is a big win for Montana farmers and ranchers. I'm very pleased to see President Trump and Prime Minister Abe of Japan announce this agreement. This will level the playing field, giving us better access for Montana farmers and ranchers into the critical market of Japan. Big win for Montana today.
Now, the new trade agreement will reduce tariffs on fresh and frozen beef along with pork, and those numbers will drop from the current 38.5% tariff to 27.6% and eventually a tariff rate of just 9% by the year 2033. Reporting, Elaine Nordland, Montana Ag Network.
Thanks, Lane. Now, the U.S. will provide tariff elimination or reduction on 42 lines of agricultural imports from Japan, valued at $40 million. Well, U.S. Senator Jon Tester also reacting today. He says this trade agreement is a step in the right direction for Montana farmers. Tester also made a move today to help farmers connect with mental health resources. The Seeding Rural Resilience Act would provide suicide prevention training to Department of Agriculture employees. Tester spoke specifically of people who work for the Farm Service Agency. Through voluntary training, those employees could learn how to recognize suicidal behaviors and how to direct fellow Montanans to the help they need.
But the truth is those people are really, really good people, and they've been around these farmers. Some of those employees have been there for 35 years, and they know these guys and gals, and they know how they react. Besides that, these folks are part of the community. They don't want to see anybody do something bad to themselves, and I think we're going to get good. I think we'll get a good response from it because, quite frankly, everybody around the country knows this is a problem.
Another aspect of the bill includes the creation of a PSA campaign to promote mental health awareness and resources. A second suspect tied to the murder of a Helena man last week admits he did it. Dwayne Johnson appeared in district court today. Court documents say Johnson admitted to detectives he attacked and killed 56-year-old Shane White with a knife. Now, Johnson and co-defendant Serena Kilsheimer have been accused of 2 alternative charges: deliberate homicide or accountability for deliberate homicide. The victim, whose body was found near Canyon Ferry Lake, had previously testified against Kilsheimer and Johnson in a dependent neglect case. Johnson's bond is set at $100,000. The Missoula County Sheriff's Office appeared in the first episode of A&E's Live PD last week, and Western Montana is buzzing. Under Sheriff Rich Marcelli says the department has received both positive and negative comments. about 10 good to every 1 bad. The sheriff's office did extensive research leading up to the show and can leave at any time if the majority of the community doesn't like it. Now, the hope is that TV exposure helps to better recruit and retain deputies. Another major reason to showcase cases when they need public help.
The Jermaine Charlo, the missing and indigenous person report, I mean, we've already received tips on that we didn't have before. So that in and of itself has made this a huge success. It's been tremendous for the family, and we've had feedback from them as well that this is, they're very appreciative and grateful that we've had this opportunity to showcase their family's situation and hopefully get some kind of a resolution or at least some answers on this case.
Now, he says he's proud of how his sheriff's deputies operate and how he'd like to showcase more positive stories about their community interactions. The state legislature authorized a statue of former Governor Judy Martz to be placed on the Capitol grounds in Helena. Now, supporters have launched a private fundraising effort to pay for it. Martz, a Republican from Butte, was Montana's first female governor, serving 1 term from 2001 through 2005. Supporters aim to raise $165,000 in 4 years to pay for a full-size statue of the former governor. The hope is to place it indoors on the 2nd floor where the governor's office sits. Now, Martz passed away in 2017 from pancreatic cancer. You can visit your local MTN website for information if you'd like to donate. Still to come on tonight's 9 o'clock news, a race against the clock. Apple growers looking to beat this season's first snowfall. And I'm not sure if I want to ask, but Bob, how's that weather looking?
Well, for the most part, it's been a beautiful day across much of southern Montana. Temperatures into the 60s and 70s, even plenty of sunny skies. But now things are starting to change a little bit. Coming up after the break, we'll talk more about the big snowstorm.